Hey guys, so this is your 5.3 video outline. We talked about finding the degree of a polynomial in class and all the different terminology, if you remember, what a polynomial is and a monomial and all that. So we want to go ahead and I wanted you to know what we were doing because we're going to practice these in class and I already want you to have that basic knowledge. So simplifying a polynomial is just combining like terms. Like terms would be kind of like your last name. All the Joneses together and all the Ainsworths together and all the Morgans together. The last name is going to look like your variable. That's what it's going to have to do with. Your numbers are just numbers, but when they're attached to a variable like x to the first power, x to the first power, they're considered like terms, and we want to keep them together. Down here, x squared and x squared, they're like terms, but the x to the first power is different, so it wouldn't go with them. So combining like terms, we would just add up or subtract or multiply whatever your numbers. So 2 plus 3 is a 5, and then x and x just comes over. So 5-1 and 5-2 dealt with multiplying variables. That's when we add their exponents. But when you're just adding, you just bring it over. You just add the numbers themselves. You don't do anything to the variables or to the letters. So it's just 2x plus 3x is a 5x. That's just its last name. Over here, same thing. Y is their last name, and it's just going to stay y. 10 minus 8 is 2y. So let's go forward. We've got they kind of work up in difficulty, but none of them are real hard if you just pay attention to their last name, to the variable itself or the letters behind the numbers. Here you've got 4AB. So is there another one that has AB? Right there. So then we just pay attention to the numbers themselves. A 4 and a positive 3, or 4 plus 3 is 7, AB. Here you have a negative 5B and a positive 2B, which is a minus 3B. And one thing you could do is find all the like terms. Say you've got xy and you've got xy. You've got an x and an x if you have a hard time seeing them in a line. And then you know that the two triangles would go together and the two circles would go together. Just be careful, that would not be x squared because we didn't multiply anything. Okay, let's go over here. I'm kind of getting out of order, but I think you could probably figure it out. This is a negative 12x squared. So here's an x squared and another x squared, and you just have an x to the first power. So it doesn't have a family member. Negative 12 plus 7, negative 5, and its last name is x squared. And just bring down your 6x. One more. I've got an x to the first, an x to the first. Well, this one's already kind of side by side, isn't it? X squared and x squared. So a minus 1, because there's an understood 1, plus 2 would be a positive 1, minus 6x squared minus 3x squared. However, I'm going to want to do one more step to this. This is the answer, x minus 9x squared. But if you remember our discussion about degrees, this is a second degree term. This is a first degree. And standard form is in decreasing order of your degrees. So we would want to put the x squared term first or in front. Okay, a third section. After we learn or practice how to combine like terms, and you can go on to your homework if you want to and do this section of like terms and see how you do, we can move on and we can start adding polynomials together. And when we do that, we're just combining like terms. It's just a big plus sign in between all those. We can do it horizontally or we can do it vertically, just like that has. I kind of like to do them all vertically just because I have like terms added up. However, we can rewrite it without parentheses. If you remember your PEMDAS, take care of your parentheses first. I have an x cubed term. Do I have another x cubed? Well, here I have an x cubed, but it's followed by a y, so it's going to be different. xy cubed, good grief, that's different again. And then we have two numbers. So we're not combining a whole lot here. We can just end up with 7x cubed minus xy cubed plus 6x cubed y. So the only thing that we can combine are the positive 11 and the negative 4. Yeah. Well, that didn't help us much. But sometimes that's how it is. Moving on B, let's drop our parentheses and we end up with 2x squared minus 3x. And that's plus negative 6x squared minus a 7x. So when it's a plus sign there, the parentheses are not that big of a deal. You can just drop them. When there's a minus sign, as you'll see in the next section, that's when it's a problem. All right, we have 2x squared. Any other x squared? Well, this one's different. This one's an x squared. This one's an x to the first, like the first one. 2 and a minus 6 would be a negative 4x squared. Negative 3 and a negative 7, that would be 7, 8, 9, 10. Negative 10x. And then here is vertically, and you can rewrite these to reflect a vertical. And they're already lined up. Our x squared terms, x to the first, and our numbers. So let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have a 12x squared. Minus 5 and a positive 3 would be a minus 2x. And minus 3 and minus 2 would be minus 5. That's it. So if you need to go back through, you know, in videos you can rewind and listen again. You can pause it. You can write all of these on a scratch sheet of paper. See if you can do what I did and then come back and check it. Any number of ways that you can study using videos. And then email me if you're just having a problem. And then lastly, when we subtract polynomials, we add the opposites. However, you better watch that little booger because that negative sign will mess you up. You have got to pay attention to a negative sign. Definition of subtraction in algebra is you can change the minus to a plus and then take the opposite of everything after. So if you use that strategy, you're going to be doing well. So here, let's see. Change the minus to a plus and change the sign of everything after. That's just a safe way to do it every time until you kind of get the hang of it. We have a minus 6x squared. Now we have a minus 3 plus a minus 7x. And minus 10 and a positive 9 would just be minus 1. So following suit, again with definition of subtraction, right here. Remember, we still have to drop our parentheses. So 2x minus 2, but change your minus to a plus, and the sign of everything after becomes opposite. So we've got plus x plus 2. And then we can pick out our like terms. So 2x plus 1x is 3x. Minus 2 plus 2, well, that's just a 0. And we're done. And one more time. Drop our parentheses. And I change this to a plus. So every sign is opposite after that minus sign. Just a good way to do it. I have a problem here in college algebra. People will change this first sign, but they won't change anything else. So be very careful. And let's get that straight away in intermediate so that won't be any problems later. So we have plus 2a to the 4th minus 8a cubed plus 12. And then we put common terms together. So we have a to the 4th. Well, this is an a cubed and just a number. A to the 4th again. A cubed and just a number. So let's see. A to the 4th. 13 plus 2 is 15. A cubed would be minus 7 plus 2. And then just our numbers. Negative 9 and a positive 12 is a positive 3. So that is polynomials and adding and subtracting polynomials. Try your homework and see how you do. Come back with questions on Wednesday and show me your notes because I'm going to want to see that you actually did this, and then we'll go over your homework and have some practice problems, and then we'll move on to multiplying polynomials, and that'll be the last section. So I will see you Wednesday. Thank you for your attention.